Who would have thought? We're going live after a buzzer beater by Pitt basketball. It's deja vu all over again. And it's the Pitt basketball team beating Ohio State on our own floor. DeMarco Minor, I'll tell you what, man, talk about a hell of a shot. I had to see it before I got on to here, guys. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. I mean, that was a hell of a shot to begin with. And that just calls for it in itself. We got to do the intro one more time here. Let's get that thing wrapping back up again. Let's go at it again. Hit it. Is a dub, baby. That's a good sign for tomorrow. That's incredible, man. I'll tell you what, got to watch the very last minute of that. Was actually coming back from the gym before we went live here and got to see a little bit of that buzzer beater, man. That's some good motion in the ocean right there, kid. Wherever you are, it is a hell of a night to be a Pittsburgh Panther. I can tell you that right now, man. That's how you want to get this whole weekend started off. That's what you want to see. Kellen Haggins, DeMarco Minor, couldn't agree more. BC Thompson, hail to Pitt. Another Wombat in here. Let's go. Enjoy the ride. Home Buckeyes. Couldn't agree more. And have any scoops on National Signing Day. We'll go over all that kind of stuff here tonight. We'll talk about a lot of stuff here as we get towards National Signing Day. We're just a day away, obviously, from what we like to call it, and it really is playoff football here in the Steel City, here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that's really the Pitt Panthers getting ready to take on the Miami Hurricanes, the number 12 Miami Hurricanes. And it's going to be a damn good football game tomorrow. But, man, I mean, just to give a little 5 minutes here before we get into it here, you guys always know the show is sponsored by Colonial Beer, located 4986 Library Road in Bethel Park, PA, 15102. Tremendous people, season ticket holders, and two great men, Bill and Alan, truly two of the best pitmen you'll get to meet. Go in there. Plenty of different selections across the board between your heavier beers, your lighter lagers. I just stopped in there tonight, got my stuff for the tailgate tomorrow. Certainly going to be a lot of fun going into it tomorrow. Can't wait for it, man. It's going to be a hell of a game. But make sure you go stop at Colonial Beer to pick up your day two needs. And guess what? It's the last game of the year. If you guys have not seen it yet, it's got some really good deals on the Pitt Panthers website. You get your tickets. Go and get them now, man. It's playoff football then at Acrisure Stadium. It's going to be a hell of an environment. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially, too, as we welcome the Miami Hurricanes. But go stop at Colonial Beer, located 4986 Library Road in Bethel Park, PA, 15102. The show is also sponsored by Thompson Law Group with Brian Thompson, an attorney on your side. Call them today at 724-799-8404 or visit them at thompsonattorney.com. Brian is truly one of the best. You guys have gotten to meet him numerous of times at the football games, the spring game. He's certainly a season ticket holder. He's there every single game. It's good to sit with him and his family. It's a lot of fun. But guess what? The best thing about Brian is, unlike the larger law firms, he cares about you, the individual. It's a relationship-based business. And he does the best of the best around the country. Doesn't matter. He is truly the best. That's personally why I use him, because one of how good of a human being he is, but the great work he does. He'll guide you from the beginning of the process to the end of the process and make sure you get the results that you need. And he treats you as an individual, not a number. Again, Brian comes from a great family, has a great family, and guess what? Does a number of different activities, but also does a great job in volunteering in the community. Make sure you guys give Brian Thompson a call today at Thompson Law Group with Brian Thompson. Call them today at 724-799-8404 or visit them at thompsonattorney.com. Again, he truly is the best, easiest person in the world to talk to. Give him a call today to get your problems fixed. Guess what? He will be there for you from beginning to end. Last but not least, the K Collection, the coffee brand by Austin Kitchen, www.thekingscraft.com. Of course, the AK Espresso. Plenty of you have told me that you've already gotten yours, which is great. The reviews have been incredible. Austin truly appreciates it. I truly appreciate it. And let me tell you, the AK Espresso is the way to go, man. This is all I need is this one thing in the morning. I'll be having mine roughly about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning before we head down to the lots, which open up at 7 a.m. The K Collection, again, a number of different great ones, but we've gone nationwide because of you guys. The K Collection, the coffee brand by Austin Kitchen at www.thekingscraft.com. Hometown hero, Mount Lebanon Blue Devil alum, Coastal Carolina Chanticleer national champion, and now with the Seattle Mariners organization in Major League Baseball. If it can fuel a professional athlete, it can certainly fuel me and you. Go online today at the K Collection, the coffee brand by Austin Kitchen at www.thekingscraft.com. Well, guys, we're certainly going to get into it here tonight. Again, it's the night before. I figure we do a live show here real quick. If you want to get your question up on the screen before anybody else's, drop a super chat down below. We'll get you up on the screen ASAP and really get after it. In the meantime, plenty of different topics going on around college football at this point, between Pitt, Miami tomorrow, which is really playoff implication football game, but also, too, the coaching carousel around college football. Looks like Lane Kiffin is going to go to LSU or stay at Ole Miss. My money is on him going to LSU. I think that's pretty much been solidified at this point. And then you have John Summerall. Look like he's about to take a move towards a really good school in Florida. We'll see if he takes that opportunity or not. I know Auburn would certainly like to get him up there. But also, too, Jim Mora leaves UConn, leaves an independent UConn football team and heads out west again, where he usually was out there at UCLA at one point in time, ends up getting rid of him. He goes out to UConn, does a great job out there, multiple 9-win seasons, and now he's back out there at Colorado State, now which is going to be entering its first year next year in the Pac-12. So really good opportunity for him out there, but the coaching carousel is going through the roof. Also, the Penn State Nittany Lions are certainly in quite a debacle. Eli Drinkowitz gets an extension. Mike Elko gets an extension. Marcus Freeman never even considered the job, immediately outright said no. Plenty of different games going on across the board when it comes to this coaching carousel. And Penn State's really in a tough spot right now. They're certainly trying to get in on the Bobby Chesney affairs. It looks like Bobby Chesney, though, from what I'm hearing, could be going to UCLA. That'll be fun to see what happens here in the next couple days. But the names are certainly coming off the list right now in the coaching carousel. So we'll be talking about that later on. But first up, man, the amount of comments, and I've seen them on my channel here for my preview. Miami truly does believe that they're going to win this game outright and just absolutely crush the Pitt Panthers here at Acrisure Stadium, almost at Heinz Field there. It's going to be something to watch as we go through it. Chris Lawrence here. The key for Pitt's D, need to hit the Miami quarterback early and regularly. Let's see here. There we go. I agree with you. They do really need to get pressure. Francis Breu was on the questionable. He was marked as questionable going into this week. From talking to a number of different people throughout a number of different channels, I do expect Francis Breu to play tomorrow on this defensive line, which we certainly need him to be successful and to get these wins. BM Commercial Project. We hear a lot about the Miami D-line. What's the weak unit of the Miami defense, and how does Pitt attack it, balancing the danger of the D-line? So when you look at this team, a number of different things. One thing I think this could be a much more of a weaker point for Miami on the defensive side of the football. Again, we know it. We talked about it during the preview show about their defensive line. You got Akeem Mesidor on one side, and you got Ruben Bain on the other side. Again, they're really damn good defensive linemen. I would expect a lot of things where the D-line to be able to take away the pressure and what they try to bring tomorrow, which they will certainly try to bring pressure, not just a 4-man pressure, but 5-man pressure, 6-man pressure to really get after the Pitt offensive line. You want to get your short game and your intermediate game going pretty quickly. You want to get the ball out as fast as possible. I went back and watched plenty of good tape between Miami versus Louisville. Louisville was very successful because they got the ball out very quickly on slant routes, curl routes, being able to hit guys in the flat, running backs, being able to go out into the flat, being able to find those guys, but also in those developing plays. Just because they're going to bring pressure, you still want to try for those deep balls. You still want to try for those developing routes. If it's not there, you don't have enough time, you should have a hot route that's built into it. But also, if you don't have a hot route, your check down should be right there. Usually a tight end or a running back in this offense. I expect Pitt to be able to utilize that as the game goes on. They'll certainly get a feel about what Miami wants to do. And, the big thing for me is going into this game, it's going to be a high of 35 tomorrow. At kick, it's going to be 32 degrees. We're going to certainly see this team. I tweeted out during the week, if I'm not mistaken here, if I can find it. Let's see here. I had a record. Let's see here. I had a record here. If I go into my thing here, thought I had it in there. They're 22 and 46 in games below 40 degrees weather. It's 40-degree weather. So that is certainly on our side when it comes to Pitt. I mean, a number of different things you look at between, why the cold weather matters, just because, one, they're not used to it. But I think personally this team is really ready to go. That is my personal opinion. On the back end, I think that they're a little bit susceptible on the back end. I actually had a name here to look at through my notes here. A player that's actually out for the season who was a damn good defensive back. Let's see here. Not Damari Brown. Hold on here. Had it here in my notes. Let's see here. If I can find it in here. I know I had it in terms of defensive backs. The last name was Scott. Let me look through my names here through numerous of just prep, just going through a number of games from viewing tape. Keontae Scott, that's his name. Keontae Scott, number 0, is out for the season. I think that's a massive factor. He's a cornerback, really good football player, a guy that I had high on my list, but then I ended up seeing him later on this week that he's out. He's actually out for the season now. After a couple games. So that's going to be enticing to say the least. Yeah, thank you here. Yeah, Keontae. Yeah. He's out for the season, so it's going to be something to watch. If Miami comes out shirtless because of the cold, then they are going to lose. That's a bad omen. I don't see them doing that. I mean, I just certainly don't see them doing that. I mean, if that's the theatrics they want to play, that's certainly fine. I think the Pitt players have certainly seen enough of these guys. Oh, the reporting for Duty Hoots game almost killed me. Yeah, Mary Beth, I'll tell you what, it almost did, but they found a way. Henny, DeMarco Minor, and again, talk about a hell of a shot by him. Also, too, been telling a bunch of people as well. I know people really upset with Jeff Capel, myself included, but this is really the first year. I think people don't understand. I know I'm going off a topic here real quick, just from the Miami stuff. People don't really understand that, Jeff Capel was really without resources the entire time Heather Lyke was here. Alliance 412 did a great job in being able to acquire talent. That's why we went to the NCAA tournament, back-to-back years, and there's really good years with Jeff Capel. But the reality is that, we really only had better resources in Boston College because of the Heather Lyke acumen in terms of NIL. Allow Jeff Capel the rest of this year and all of next year with this, the assistants that they have here now. They have a top 5 recruiting class coming in 2026 with 3 top 100 players they just recruited because of NIL help, but also too revenue sharing help, which Alan Green has done a phenomenal job in what he's been able to do. Also, Jay Kuntz is now the new general manager. Back in the day was Bobby Huggins, pretty much right-hand man. Allow that guy to go in the portal next year to bring in players. Guys, I mean, at the end of the day, football is what really makes money, and the landscape of college athletics. Jeff Capel will be back next year, and I think fans will be a lot happier next year when we see the full strength of what Pitt's able to bring resource-wise. And a number of these coaches, a couple assistant coaches on the staff that I heard that had other opportunities to go elsewhere. Jay Kuntz had opportunities to go elsewhere. It's a number of different things. And I think people need to understand from people I've talked to in the Pitt athletic department, going forward, Pitt's going to have a lot of resources for basketball and football. It's that simple. And I think that's really important to note as the year goes on. Next year we can really grade, Jeff Capel and this staff because of the resources that they're going to get from next season. And again, they got a top 5 recruiting class with 3 top 100 players coming in next season. So again, Jeff Capel will be back, and we'll be able to judge him next year as Alan Green has given him a lot of resources going into next season. And I would expect Pitt to grab 4 or 5 players, if not even 6 players, in the transfer portal next year for this Pitt basketball team. I've also, recorded, a number of different things I've heard through the grapevine and rumor vine, allegedly, that the player from Iowa State, I'm drawing a blank on his name. If you guys can help me out in the comments section here, for the Pitt basketball team out of Iowa State. What was the big man's name? Is it DJ? I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. If you guys can give me a help here. Let's see here. Trying to think of his name. What the heck was a transfer from yeah, there we go. Deshaun Jackson. He was rolled out this season. He has had that heart issue, from my understanding, from his freshman year. From my understanding, it sounds like there's still a way, there's still a wager going on from behind the scenes to get him eligible. From talking to numerous people in the grapevine outside the program, it sounds like that Pitt is trying to still get him eligible for this season. We'll be able to see if he does. He was a massive factor in what they wanted to do moving forward. So again, they're going to try. We're at a point already. We're already 8 games in to this season. If they get him eligible, that's great. But I think that there's still stuff going on from behind the scenes from Pitt's side to try to get him, eligible, because, he's had this problem, whatever it is, since freshman year. It certainly didn't bother him at Iowa State when he was getting double-doubles. So if we can get him healthy, I think this really changes this Pitt basketball team, in my opinion. Deshaun Jackson. That's going to be something to keep an eye on, guys, if he does get cleared. And I think Pitt, from behind the scenes, from people that I've talked to, have told me that they are still trying to get him activated and get him on the basketball court. Pitt basketball definitely wasn't equipped to compete in the NIL era until this year. Well, 110%. I mean, when you look at resource-wise, I would say, again, we were at the bottom, only in front of Boston College. That's how it's been explained to me. Alliance 412 did a great job, in my personal opinion. I think they did great. I think they did great for what they needed to do. We had, again, a top 25 team. We had a conference, a championship team in terms of going to the NCAA tournament. But now Pitt is really where it needs to be, towards the upper third of the ACC when it comes to actual resources for basketball, and that has everything to do with Joan Gable, and Alan Green. And I've said this before. I've seen so many comments from people that talked about, they Heather, like, we should never gotten rid of her. She had no plan for NIL. And I'm just being honest with you guys. She did not have a plan. She didn't believe in it. She thought it was going to go away. Alan Green has been such a godsend to this university in terms of what they've been able to do, create revenue. Kyle Bruce coming in, being the chief operating officer in terms of revenue. He's done a really good job coming over from Ole Miss. Then we have a couple other guys coming over from Notre Dame. And they've done a good job of hiring the right people. Next year, I will be really grading, this Pitt basketball team, along with the coaching staff, along with general manager Jay Kuntz. But right now, going into next season, you do have a top 5 recruiting class with 3 top 100 players. So I think people need to give this some time, give it till next year, and then you really grade Jeff Capel going on from there. That's my opinion. Just my thoughts. Let's see here. Good stuff there. Let's get back into some stuff. Obviously, guys, again, if you're not done, so hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button. Guys, we're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. We're almost there. Share this show. Get it out there between Facebook, X. Do everything you can. Send your friends. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, and we're looking to continue to grow at a high level and get out to more people. So appreciate you guys for everything that you do and subscribing to the channel and really promoting it. I cannot thank you guys enough. Again, we are also a day after Thanksgiving. So again, to each and every single one of you, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you really enjoyed it with your families. I hope you had a great time. The Turkey Bowl, we certainly had ours yesterday. It was 31 degrees. And I mean, we were all sitting there. I'm like, man, I cannot wait for this Miami game and just to get out there. And just, again, there's nothing like being out there for a Turkey Bowl on a Thursday and just absolutely just messing people up. It's always a good time. So, again, happy Thanksgiving, and really pumped up for you guys, and really hope you enjoyed it with your families, as the holiday season is always good this time of year. Going into, again, the Miami Pitt game. This is going to be a hell of a game. And, again, you guys have seen me tweet out a couple of stuff here today. Miami truly does believe they're going to blow Pitt out tomorrow. And who knows? They possibly could. Do I think that happens tomorrow? Not in the slightest. I really do believe this is going to be a closer game. I have this as a 34-31 game. I think that this team has grown since the Notre Dame game. Also, Pitt scored 42 points against Georgia Tech last week. The Georgia Bulldogs, who are in the top 10, only scored 16 points. They beat the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 16-9 today. Tells you what kind of team Georgia Tech is. This team has gotten better. I think it has continued to learn. I think Cade Bell continues to learn and find different ways. Tomorrow I think that we're going to have an opportunity to really prove what this team can do. We're not going to be fully healthy. I don't know if Sean Fitzsimmons will be out there. I think that's still questionable. That is kind of what we have at this point. It's still questionable at this point if he's out there or not. But Francis Breu, I expect him to be able to play. He was on the questionability report. Trey Butowski, the kicker, I don't expect him to play tomorrow. I think he's out for the rest of the year from what I was told. Des Reed, I think that if they can get some third down stuff out of him, I think he's going to be very limited on what they do. But obviously, he's a great player, but if he's not 100%, you got to go with the hot hand right now and a guy who, in my opinion, is going to be a freshman All-American, and that's Shakarian Boozy Turner, who continues to play at a high level. I think he's going to be a hell of a player tomorrow in the passing game, not just the running game. We need him to level up. But again, we looked at both of these different sides of the fields. David H2P, back-to-back buzzers versus Ohio. Really good one there. Miami is going to try to lay it on Pitt. I think we have a real shot to win if we play clean and keep it all business. I agree. Yeah, Fisher. I mean, obviously too. We talked about that. I get it. That came in. Orange Bowl. We thought cold weather was going to bother them. I mean, Fisher. At the end of the day, too, in 2017, you were probably one of the people that said, well, the cold wasn't going to affect them. They were the number 2 team in the country, and guess what? They lost to Kenny Pickett, a true freshman, and they lost to Pitt, the number 2 team in the country. I was there. It was quite a bit of a dominant performance. David H2P, thankful for you, JJ. Hail to Pitt, brother. Certainly. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Again, guys, if you want to get your questions up before anybody else is here tonight, use the super chat button down below, and we'll get your stuff up here on the screen. But again, I think the way you attack this on defense, okay, when you're facing Miami's offense, you have to get pressure on Carson Beck. Watching the Louisville game, watching the SMU game, the way that they were able to create pressure was certainly a way they were able to be successful against his football team. Again, you look at Carson Beck, he had 4 interceptions against Louisville, but because why that happened? They pressured him. They pressured him, created pressure, made him uncomfortable in the pocket. He made a lot of turnovers in those games. Yeah, nothing was on the line. I mean, there's nothing on the line for us, but there was everything on the line for Miami. They didn't go to a national championship. They didn't get in the playoff because of that. They also lost in the AC championship game. There was a lot on the line for them. I can assure you they were playing. No needless penalties. I agree. But also, when you're facing this offense, again, you want to pressure Carson Beck. But probably the biggest thing overall that you want to do is their best receiver, in my opinion, that's Malachi Toney, the true freshman who has just been an outstanding wide receiver for Miami in every single game. The kid's electric. The matchups that I want to see personally is that he's going to be in the slot, which that means that he's going to be covered by Kyle Lewis or a safety at that point. That's what it's going to probably be. He's going to be covered by Kyle Lewis or a safety inside the slot. But also, you could see some Delta packages where Pitt really changes it up. And if I had to guess, I would imagine we're probably going to see a little bit of a defensive scheme in terms of packages that Pitt's able to roll out there against Miami. I really do believe that. I think that Pitt's going to certainly adjust to what they're looking for. I think it's going to be a very different onset to what they're looking to do on the defensive side of the football. But you want to pressure Carson Beck, number one. You have to get pressure on him, or else if he sits back there all day, the guy's got a really strong arm. He can push the ball down the field. We'll see what that looks like in the terms of the cold weather. But again, he's got a strong arm. I think that's not going to change at all. Number 2, you got to keep in check Malachi Toney. Okay. Number 3, you got to control the line of scrimmage. I think that Miami's offensive line is pretty damn good. I've listened to a number of different shows this week. Miami fans are pretty much shitting on, the Pitt's offensive line. They've been pretty much shitting on them about that. Said our defensive line wasn't good. I don't really agree with that, but for Pitt, you got to pressure Carson Beck. You got to be able to slow down because you're not going to stop them. You got to slow down Malachi Toney and who's going to be in the slot all game. And then you have to be able to control or at least slow down in the line of scrimmage and the running game. If you're able to do that, you've got yourself a chance. On the offensive side of the football for Pitt, when you're facing Miami's defense, again, Keontae Scott is out for the season. That's a huge, massive factor for Pitt, I think, to be able to throw the ball when it comes to throwing the ball outside. Being able to push the ball down the field, I think that's a massive factor. It's always been good. Their linebacking core is good, not great, but their defensive line, again, if you're able to get the ball out quickly, find your guys, or even in this instance, the offensive line, this is the game to prove it, that you can actually go toe-to-toe with one of the best defensive lines in America. That's really how I look at this defensive line for Miami. I think that, Bain Jr., he's a hell of Reuben Bain Jr., on one side of defensive end. The kid is just lights out. Kid plays really well. Akeem Mesidor, a guy Pitt tried to recruit when he first came out, went to West Virginia, leaves West Virginia, said he felt unsafe because of Morgantown, obviously not a very good place to be to begin with. So he left there, went to Miami, which was a big motivating factor. Goes to Miami. He's been playing lights out. The same thing with that. Also had on here two guys to watch out for the defensive tackle position. You had Ahmad Moten Sr., and then also, too, David Blay. Ahmad is a really good football player on the inside. I watched the Virginia Tech tape. His hands and his feet are truly incredible, being able to be very quick from the point of attack, being able to get around guys is always a big thing he was able to do. That's a proven fact moving forward where he's able to make those moves. On the interior offensive line, I expect Kendall Stanley to be back at guard. Kendall Stanley on the left side, B.J. Williams on the right side, and Lyndon Cooper. Those guys are going to have to be very, very communicative when it comes to being able to pick up different blitzes that Miami sends. Stunts, you'll see different stunts from Miami, especially in front. The defensive tackles, you've got to be able to pick those things up and be very aggressive, but have a lot of communication up front to be aggressive and to pick those up. If you're able to pick them up and just slow them down, I think Pitt can have a lot of success. I think, C.J. Lee's back. He's back there again. Kenny Johnson, you've got Blue Hicks back there again. Those are massive, massive things you can have going forward. The only thing that I really look at this point that could be a really potential issue, that Pitt, the only reason why I think Pitt could lose this game, field goal kicking. And unless Carpenter has figured it out or unless he's healthy, Trey Butowski not playing this football game is a really bad thing for Pitt. Pitt has done a really good job of getting field goal kickers. Hopefully Carpenter's a guy who's able to figure it out. That's been the number one thing that we've seen. You'd hope he'd be able to figure it out. You want him to be able to be confident going into this game. The great thing is, too, it is very hard to kick in Acrisure. So maybe Miami can't kick either. So we'll watch that. Notre Dame couldn't kick either. So those are things to watch. But I think for Pitt, that's kind of a slight and really a negative towards Pitt, not being able to get points on the board through field goal kicking. So hopefully Carpenter gets it figured out. But right now, I would say he doesn't have it figured out because what we saw last game. Missed a 35-yard field goal, looked like he was hurt. We'll be able to see what that looks like moving forward. Going to be there tomorrow. You challenge Beck, he will fall apart. Show has been great all year. Thanks for the great Pitt coverage as always. Hail to Pitt. Thank you, Coffee8087. Thank you for subscribing to the show. And guess what? We're only just getting started here, guys. I mean, we're going to be here all offseason. We're going to be talking about the recruiting, transfer portal, things we're talking about, coaching situations. There's a number of different scenarios for Pitt that I'm holding on to that, I've heard about, some potential rumors here and there that I'm not reporting on right now. We'll talk about that more throughout the season, but truly appreciate it. I started this channel because there's a lack of positivity towards Pitt and lack of realism. There's plenty of times where you could look at Pitt and really just blatantly go at them. But we've seen here in the local market where there really is no real reporting or real commentary on Pitt. That's why I started this. There's a lot of good things happening at Pitt. There's a lot of things at Pitt that need to be changed for the better. But guess what? I'm going to call it the way it is. I'm not going to be like the Syracuse people in our media or the Penn State people where it's all just negative and we're just a bottom tier program. It's not true. We're moving in a great direction, and we're going to talk about that here and not be shy about it. So thank you for subscribing to the show. Another one here. The Whiskey Coach. Found you a few weeks ago, JJ. You do a really nice job. I'm concerned tomorrow about the trenches on both sides. Our skilled guys match up well, in my opinion. Hail to Pitt. Well, thank you, sir, for finding the podcast. Truly appreciate it. We're growing at a massive rate. I said it before in the show. This show is free, guys. Okay? It's free. All you got to do is hit the like button down below, hit subscribe down below, And also, don't be a hoe. Share the show. That's all we ask for here. Just share the show with somebody. Truly appreciate you, the Whiskey Coach, being a subscriber here. When it comes to the trenches, I'm not too worried about our defensive line, and that's personally my opinion. Now, the offensive side of the ball, if we do the same thing that we did against Notre Dame, then yeah, we're going to be in for a long day. That's just my opinion. But if we make the corrections, we notice what we did wrong, which, again, we came out last week a completely different looking team because we made the corrections. We saw a number of different changes up front. Kendall Stanley is clearly a guard. He plays very well at the guard position. Tackle Jeff Percy's back. I think he's a lot better at the tackle position. But I think the offensive line, that's really where my question marks are. If they can stand up and be able to give Mason Heinchel time and allow him to extend plays, get outside the pocket, or at least give him a clean pocket that we saw a number of different times in the first three quarters against Georgia Tech, we got ourselves a chance here. I mean, I really do. I think Pitt's a really good football team, but you got to get some consistency up front. And I think that from everyone that I've talked to, this offensive line is very much in terms of accepting this challenge. They understand what people are saying about them. They understand that there's people that don't have a lot of faith in this offensive line. They hear it. They're taking this challenge. Ryan Bayer's taking this challenge. B.J. Williams taking this challenge. Lyndon Cooper taking this challenge. Kendall Stanley and Jeff Percy taking this challenge. We're going to find out tomorrow what kind of football team this is, but I can tell you right now, it's going to be a physical football game tomorrow. Pitt does not shy down from anybody. We are not scared of anybody. We are not nervous of nobody. When you face Pitt, you're getting punched in the mouth. It's a Pat Narduzzi football team. It's going to be physical from whistle to whistle, and from the first quarter all the way till the clock hits 0 in the fourth quarter. It's going to be a physical football game. So I'm excited for this one tomorrow. I will certainly be there. It's going to be a damn good game. And I think that this game will be a lot closer than what people think. And I expect a great atmosphere tomorrow when it comes to the Acrisure Stadium atmosphere. And again, if you're looking for tickets, go on to Pitt's website. They're doing a good job running promotions. Go get your tickets. I know it's a Thanksgiving holiday. The crowd should still be good, but I expect it to be loud. And again, the great thing is going to be it's the way the Acrisure is. Unlike college stadiums, they're not. Acrisure is built up, not out like all these other college stadiums where, heck, you got 40,000 people in there. It just sounds loud. That's just a fact. Brian Thompson here. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Last home game tomorrow. Let's get rowdy. I couldn't agree more. If you're in there, be loud. Create that environment that we need to be able to be successful in this football game. Again, this is a damn good football team in Miami. I'm excited for this game. I really do believe this is going to be a really good environment. And I think really personally, Pitt's ready to go. I think they've done a good job of of listening to a number of the people who have talked about how there's a lot of doubt at Pitt and that Miami's going to win this game. I mean, Nevin Shapiro, who, if you don't know Nevin Shapiro, obviously he was a major donor at Miami back in the day, but he was caught running a Ponzi scheme, went to prison for 10 years. He was on his podcast with whoever his co-host is. I mean, they were pretty much saying this, Miami has 10 times more talent, a lot more talent than Pitt. They should beat the shit out of Pitt. I mean, the video was absolutely wild. If I have it here, I don't know. I might be able to show it here if I can find it. If I can find it here. Thought I had a video in here. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see if this loads. I don't know if it is going to load or not. Yeah, I don't know if it is or not. It's a shame. But although there was a video that was online, that I saw that people sent to me that basically this Nevin Shapiro is like, we should beat the shit out of them, tomorrow. They're not even the same class as us. That, I don't know about that. I think Miami is a damn good football team, and I think they have some advantages. Their D-line being an advantage against our offensive line. I think Malachi Toney's a damn good football player. We got to find a way to slow him down. But to just say that they should just kick the shit out of us is just, I think, off the rocker. I think this game's going to be a lot closer. It's not like it's in Miami either. It's up here in Pittsburgh. I don't know, man. I think that this football team is going to be ready to go. That's just my personal opinion. Thank you again, Brian, for the super chat. A number of comments coming in here again, guys. I know the Bird Cave driving home. No, I'm not driving. Keys to tomorrow. Bird Cave. If you've not done so, make sure you guys go on to YouTube here. Go over to the Bird Cave. Eric does a tremendous job. Go over there, subscribe to his podcast. Truly one of the best. Was on his show. I usually like to go on there every Thursday. Didn't get to do it this Thursday because of Thanksgiving. But make sure you guys go over there and say it. Let's see here. Driving home from holiday shopping. 1, play fast on both sides. Play within the scheme of the offense. Number 2, stay ahead of the sticks. 3, keep pursuing on defense. And I very much agree with this. You got to be able to play fast, less thinking, more doing what we just saw last week where Pitt was just up 28-0. We saw him take off and take on board. I mean, it's going to be good. Play fast on both sides. Couldn't agree more. Play within the scheme on offense. Agree. Find your guys, whether you're pushing the ball down the field. If it's not there, don't take a dumb sack. Be able to throw the ball away or find your 2 hot routes. You see the pressure coming. Have your hot routes that are built into the system, or make sure you hit your checkdowns, whether it's your running backs coming out of the backfield or your tight ends just sitting right there in the flats or over the middle of the field. Be able to hit your guys. Be consistent in what you're looking to do. It's that simple. Let's see here. Start drinking at 9 a.m. The good thing is, though, me personally, I will be down there at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. It'll be a lot of fun. The tailgating scene is always a lot of fun down there. We'll be down there. Certainly going to be a lot of fun. Also, too, one of the things I had here in my notes I was talking about, both of these teams are extremely highly penalized. And to the point of Eric was talking about playing within the scheme. Being able to understand that you got to play within the scheme, but also, too, don't lose your mind when you're out there. It's going to be a heated game. Don't have dumb penalties. If you have dumb penalties, you're going to lose this game. Like this, especially as a team against Miami. You can't have stupid penalties. You have to be able to be on point, ready to go, not committing dumb penalties. And that's against any other team. But again, when you're facing a very good team like Miami, you cannot have stupid penalties. You can't do it. Again, for tomorrow, you got to be on top and on point. Yeah, the Bird Cave. Yep. Again, thank you, sir, for that. Let me see here. Just curious on your thoughts on Cal and Tech. My thoughts are pretty simple. SMU is going to beat Cal. They don't have a head coach right now. They're out of sorts. So that's not the game I'm watching. The game that I'm watching afterwards, after the Pitt game, as long as we win, that's kind of the big thing going forward. We got to win the football game tomorrow. We got to take care of our own business first against a good Miami team. The game that I'm going to be watching is Virginia Tech versus Virginia. Why I say that, guys, and I know Virginia Tech's in the middle of a bad year, but Virginia Tech and Virginia, in the last 24 games, Virginia is 2-22 against Virginia Tech. That's been over how many different coaches, how many different teams? That's a big, big, big factor. The only thing that could hurt Virginia Tech is it's on the road at Virginia. These guys are playing certainly very hard. They kept it very close with Miami. Miami got some style points there with the last play of the game. But at the end of the day, Virginia Tech has really owned this series, and we need Virginia Tech to step up, unfortunately, tomorrow. Because if they don't, then it's really over for us regardless. But number one, we got to take care of business, and Pitt has to play Pitt football. Physical at the point of attack, we are looking to go in there and be able to beat up on our opponents. It's that simple. Physical. Play fast and physical football. That's Pitt football. And then, too, after that, we can get into all the extra stuff of watching the Virginia Tech game and Cal game, but I don't see SMU losing to Cal. Virginia and the Virginia Tech game is the one to watch. That's for a fact. Crazy that Cal fired their coach. Didn't wait. He has a winning season going. Yeah, but also, too, I guess if they're looking for a couple other different guys, that's another thing, too. Personally, me, Coach Wilcox, he's a great defensive mind. He will have a job as a D coordinator somewhere else. He's a hell of a football coach. He will not be out of the profession long. He will have a job this offseason. That's how good of a coach he is. I wouldn't count out Cal. Saw what happened with UCLA. Just never know what can happen on a given Saturday, but definitely agree. Always got to take care of business first. Yeah, exactly. And to be honest with you, I'm interested in the Virginia Tech game. But, man, I'm just dialed into what we need to do because, this is a game where Pitt has to be on point. We're facing a top 12 opponent. We got to be on it. And I think that we will be tomorrow. And I'm excited for the crowd. I expect a sparse crowd in terms of, the student section because everyone's away on vacation. On the Thanksgiving break. That was kind of a big thing, too. I would expect probably between 40 to 45,000 people there tomorrow. Because everyone's traveling for Thanksgiving and whatnot, so it'll be interesting. But the way that Acrisure built, a lot like Miami too. They play at the Miami Dolphins Stadium. It's all built up. Again, also too, if you guys have not seen the video I posted from Northwestern, they're gonna have a smaller stadium at 35,000 seats. But the way that they built that stadium, you look at the diagrams, how much closer to the field it is compared to Ohio State, compared to Michigan, compared to Penn State. It's really built close to the field and up to where it creates all that sound and everything stays in. The same thing happens with Acrisure Stadium. It stays in there and creates a lot of noise. We've seen it over the years. Unless Cal has their next guy lined up, it looks like a reckless move and outside looking in. Potentially, but I think that there's a couple guys out there. Cal, the guy they're going to be looking at is another defensive coordinator. His name's Tosh Lapoy. He's a defensive coordinator at Oregon right now. He's a former Cal player. I don't know, man. If they hire him, one, they need more resources up there to begin with, but that's a damn good football coach. He's a younger guy. I think that's a really good one. Even though Justin Wilcox is a damn good football coach, I think that, Lapoy could be a really damn good player. Really damn good football coach up there. That's just my opinion. I think he does that well of a job. That's just me and my opinion. Unless they get Terry Smith type effort from their players. Yeah, I agree. But even Terry Smith right now, Terry Smith type effort, they're 2-3 in 5 games that, Terry Smith has coached there. So it is what it is. Good stuff there. Let me see here. I don't see no more super chats there. Also, going to talk about it on here because we didn't get to talk about it really anywhere else. I'll probably have a video that I'll post later on next week going through a number of the coaching hires. But, man, I really do believe for where Virginia Tech is, that's a really damn good hire, for Virginia Tech. I think that, again, Penn State's finding out the really bad stuff about college football, that you just fired a guy who wins 10 or 11 games a year. Yes, we call him Big Game James because he can't win the big game, which I don't expect Virginia Tech to ever win a national title. I can tell you that right now. But they're going to be a program where they're winning 3 or 4 games a year to a program that's going to be winning 9, 10, 11 games a year. And the recruiting class is certainly starting to build onto it. I think it's a really good move for Virginia Tech because you get more and more teams that compete in the ACC, which, again, I said it before, is a deeper conference than what anybody else thinks. We saw it again today, 16-9. Georgia Tech, they should have won it last year, but some bullshit calls down the line really ruined that football game. But today, even that game was close. They're going to have a lot of resources. Brent Key continues to build up that football program. Then you look at Virginia Tech making a good hire with James Franklin. Will it be successful? Who knows? But I really do think it's going to be successful because the guy has a proven track record between Vanderbilt. Hell, he built Vanderbilt, for Christ's sake. They were in the middle of how much of a downturn. Went to Penn State, built that up from all the sanctions from the Jerry Sandusky scandal and the Joe Paterno scandal. And, that's a whole nother factor. So I think that James Franklin, that hire is going to be really good for Virginia Tech. That's just my opinion. I think Josh Lapoy is going to be the new coach over at Cal, in my opinion. Again, the defensive coordinator from Oregon. That's personally what I think. Who else got hired out there? Jim Mora going from UConn out to Colorado State. Colorado State will join the Pac-12 next year. Certainly have a lot of good resources in terms of the group of 5, and especially in the Pac-12. There'll be really a lot more money out there. I think UConn could really be a really good place, not just for basketball, but for football. But them being independent is not a good thing. Being independent in football, that's just not a good move for a school like UConn. They need to join a conference. That's why they're trying to join the Big 12. They're trying to join the ACC, but they just don't bring as much value as what people really think right now. And I think that's a really shame because they really could get a lot more. They could get a lot more value if they were in a conference. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the comments here, making sure I thought I saw a super chat there. Sorry, guys. I'm going through it right now. I think that Jim Moore is a really good hire out at Colorado State. They just got to make sure they keep everything in point there. Also, too, the best hire so far, besides James Franklin, who I think is 1A, 1B, damn, man, Eric Morris to Oklahoma State. That is a guy. I have a list of, for me personally, just for Pitt, and it could come at any time this year, 3 years from now, who knows? I have a list of coaches who I would believe would be successful at the University of Pittsburgh, and I got a list of about 10 to 15 guys. A number of guys have been crossed out my list. Number one of those guys was Eric Morris, who is going to be an absolutely outstanding hire, in my opinion, at Oklahoma State. That guy has truly been a proven commodity anywhere he's been. Yeah, in Konate Word, he had Cam Ward out there. He had Baker Mayfield over at Oklahoma. He had Cam Ward and Konate Word, Baker Mayfield. Then this year he has that walk-on kid who just completely just blew it up, and where he's been incredible. At Washington State, he had Mateer at Washington State before he went to Oklahoma. The guy can just evaluate talent. And when you're able to be a head football coach and evaluate talent and develop talent, it doesn't matter where you go, especially at a place if you get a lot of resources. But I expect Oklahoma State to bump up their NIL resources because, one, it's just been so bad there. That's why they've just been absolutely horrific. And, Mike Gundy took a lot of time to get on board there. But Eric Morris, in my opinion, is going to be a damn good football coach at Oklahoma State in the Big 12. I would think in probably the next 2 or 3 years, I think Oklahoma State's going to be competing for the top just because there is no dominant football team in the Big 12. Texas Tech really paid their way to the top right now. We'll see how they perform tomorrow against West Virginia here in West Virginia. Probably the coldest environment they've been a part of. We'll see what they look like. I don't think they're for real. I think they'll get to the playoffs and look really mid to average. Utah did not look good today. Utah was struggled mightily. They were losing in the fourth quarter to Kansas, a 5-6 Kansas team. They ended up pulling it out towards the end, got a 10-point victory, but they were only up by 3. I mean, that was a very close game the entire game. I mean, that's not a 12 or top 13 team, in my opinion. BYU is, certainly trying to get up there, but they have struggled with a number of teams throughout the Big 12 as well. Look at Georgia today, struggling with Georgia Tech. I think, again, the ACC is a lot deeper. I think, you've got a lot of parity there in the ACC. You got a lot of parity in the Big 12. I think they struggle with not having a lot of big brands. It's kind of been noticeable in their conference why they don't make as much money too. Another super chat here. Will, just saw you pop up here. Highlights, everything highlights. Pitt had a budding rivalry with VT going back to the BE days. Who's BE days? Maybe Beamer, and into the Coastal days until the ACC got rid of divisions. Do you think Franklin hire will cement them as a rivalry? As long as Pat Narduzzi's there, yes. I think that because James Franklin coached at Penn State, but also too, just how James Franklin talked about Pitt and how he just didn't want to face Pitt. They didn't want to renew that rivalry. They certainly negatively recruited Pitt anytime they talked to them. That is going to be a rivalry back there again. And again, I always liked facing Virginia Tech, even with their previous 2 head coaches, Brent Pry, and then who was the other one before Brent Pry? Why am I forgetting his name? Was a really good hire at the time, ended up being a horrific coach. Guys, what the hell was his name? God, it's bothering the hell out of me now. I got to look it up now, guys. Hold on here. Let me look this up here. Google Virginia Tech. Let's see. I'm going to do Numlock 2016. Justin Fuente. That's what it was. Justin Fuente, when he was there, we were going after a lot of the same players, and they couldn't develop. That was a problem. We were recruiting a lot of the same players. We were developing players, which is why we led to where we were. We've been down to the Pitt's now been to multiple ACC championship games, has won an ACC title. That's a big factor, I expect that to be potentially a rivalry again, just because James Franklin's there. He's certainly going to recruit the Whippeal. He's certainly going to recruit the Virginia area. I think he'll have the Virginia area on lock for most years just because of how well he recruits. But it's going to be something that definitely people look at. But again, the more teams that are better in the ACC is a good thing. But also, too, it's up to Pat Narduzzi and Pitt to take care of business and, have an opportunity to be really aggressive in terms of the ACC. Clemson has certainly fallen from the graces of earth because they're miscalculating, misreviewing guys. A number of players that went to Clemson just were not good football players. We saw how bad they are this year. Florida State, I'm just so tired of hearing about Florida State. They're all talk. They're all bark and no bite. I mean, at the end of the day, all hat, no cattle. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. They got a long way to go. And for a school that said they were too good for the ACC and sued the ACC, they're absolutely been horrific. I don't think it changes next year either as they try to go find another quarterback as Tommy Castellanos leaves, and he's been an absolutely horrible quarterback for Florida State. There's a lot of opportunity to take care of this conference and really take it from the top. I just think that Pitt now has the resources with Alan Green and Joan Gable going all in on sports, but more importantly, football and basketball. It's a massive thing moving forward. That's just my opinion. The ACC is up for grabs. You can go take it. Put the resources forward, be competitive, go all in, and go try to take the ACC. Be aggressive. That's my opinion. They sure could recruit DNs under Fuente, though. Yeah, but, like Taiwan Garbett or Ty Garbett, and then the other one that went there, they didn't do anything. They ended up leaving anyways. They weren't even good, So I don't know. Possibly, you look at it from a different spectrum, but I just don't even think they were that good. That's just my opinion. Thank you for the super chat, but that'll be, again, we're going down to Virginia Tech. If you've not seen next year, we're going down to Virginia Tech to face the Virginia Tech Hokies in Blacksburg next year. I'm going to try to go to that football game. I've never been to I've never been to Blacksburg yet. Would like to see that game there and just the Enter Sandman, stuff like that. So it'll certainly be very interesting. I was being sarcastic. Oh, I see it here. Okay. Yeah, so a number of different factors, but I don't see any more super chats here. I think that we might be calling it here tonight. But I mean, at the end of the day, kicking's going to be an issue for Pitt tomorrow, in my opinion. On defense, we have to stop the run. We got to create pressure on Carson Beck, and we got to stop Malachi Toney. That's my opinion on the defense side of the football. On offense, you got to slow that pass rush. The two defensive ends, Reuben Bain Jr. and Akeem Mesidor on the outsides. We got to slow them down to create time to move the ball down the football field. Also, another thing, you got to get Shakira and Boozy Turner involved early. Get them the football. Get them the opportunity to get out in space and create different avenues of how they're able to be productive. Be a two-dimensional football team. Apply the run. You ran for 200 yards last week. Obviously, Miami's a lot better of a defense than Georgia Tech. Try to establish the run. These guys up front love the block and run blocking. Run the damn football. 2, make sure when you're pushing the ball down the field, one, if it's not there, find your check down, find your hot routes. It's not there, throw the ball away. Live another day. That's another thing. And also, Mason Heinschel has to go back to where we saw last week, playing like Mason Heinschel again. We saw him just break out again last week again. You want to see that continue on. You want to see that continually get aggressive to where Pitt is just not scared to move the ball down the football field. Yeah, Junko's killing me, man. Yeah, he better not shank any. I agree. And please stop kicking the ball out of bounds on kickoff. Please, for the love of God, stop doing that. Everyone has to execute at a high level, crisp, professional, and tough. Couldn't agree more. Play fast, play smart, but most of all, play physical. Play Pitt football, physical, between the whistles. We could win decisively if we do those things. I agree. Any National Signing Day rumors? As of right now, in my opinion, again, I think that the early signing day period, I mean, we pretty much have our class right now that's there. The one I'm watching on the most is Bryce Hamilton, the wide receiver. He picked up an offer from James Franklin, Virginia Tech. It sounds like they're going to be very much involved. That could be one that's going to go past National Signing Day. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully we get him to sign. Pat Narduzzi and the Pitt staff will certainly talk to him, but that's one that looks like it could potentially be a flip. Also, number 2, Matt Sieg. Matt Sieg is the big fish out there right now for Pitt. Pitt will be very aggressive after this next signing day for the February signing day period. They will try to add more players in there from coaches and teams that are looking to have, that lose head football coaches. Pitt's going to go in there and look to grab a couple more guys, probably try to get up to 25 commits. Right now, there are 20 commits. I mean, you look around the country, West Virginia, for Christ's sake, they're like 35 commits. UNC's at 32, 33 commits. I would expect Pitt to try to get to 25 and then apply the portal after that. Matt Sieg is really between Pitt and Virginia Tech. And I think right now I'm going to certainly call my shot. I'm going to call it right now because this will probably be the last time. Well, no, I'll talk to you guys on Sunday, but probably Sunday will be the last time I talk to you before Wednesday's signing day period. It's between Pitt and Virginia Tech, guys. And then also, too, Indiana's kind of in there a little bit still because they're throwing a lot of cash. I'm going to call my shot. I'm going to say, as of right now, today, on this Friday, right now, I'm going to say Pitt lands Matt Sieg, and Matt Sieg commits to Pitt on National Signing Day. But we'll see. We'll monitor it, that's for sure. But, guys, cannot thank you enough for tuning in to another episode of Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Again, I will be tailgating over towards the Carnegie Science Center side and the gravel lot near all the students. We're certainly over there. You can come over and say hello. It's been awesome to meet a ton of you guys over there throughout the year. It's going to be a cold one tomorrow, but that's what we like it, baby. It's Pittsburgh. We love cold football, man. Guys, cannot thank you enough for supporting the podcast. Again, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe down below. Thank you guys as always. As always and forever, hail to Pitt. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go beat the Miami Hurricanes. I'll see you on Sunday at the Sunday Conversation. I'll see you next time.